How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to another offseason episode of the Pig Pod. Voice of the Iron Pig, Sam Jellinek, here with you as we continue to plow through the winter months here, getting past Thanksgiving into December and looking towards the holiday season. Obviously, it's a fun time of year. Things are a little bit grayer, maybe a little bit more snow on the ground by the time that we post this episode. But it's always fun to keep in touch and, see how everything's going here around the Iron Pigs with some of our players, some of our staff, and, everything in the world of Phillies baseball as we go towards getting ready for spring training. The big news over the last time that we dropped a podcast episode, that was with Nick Podkul, is a couple of things Iron Pigs related. We have now released all of our jerseys for our two new jerseys for this upcoming season. Our Saturday Pennsylvania Dutch Hex-inspired Saturday jerseys, and then our redesigned Sunday Phillies throwback jerseys. They are both fantastic. If you need a great holiday gift, be sure to stop by the clubhouse store here at the ballpark or go to ironpigshop.com and you can still find those jerseys there as well. In addition to the jerseys, there's a full clothing collection behind those jerseys. So we're talking t-shirts, sweatshirts, outerwear apparel, so long sleeves, kind of pullovers, obviously the hats as well. So anything you might need for the holidays, you can certainly get it in the new jersey collections that we have for our Saturday and Sunday jerseys. So that's, the new stuff on the Iron Pig side of things. And then on top of that, I think it was either right before we had Cal Stevenson on, our guest for today's podcast. It might have been that same day or earlier that week that Aaron Nola re-signed with the Phillies. Obviously, Aaron, an all-time Iron Pig great in the limited time that he was here with the Pigs, but one, a time that was very fondly remembered, signing a huge contract with the Phils to stick around more likely than not for the rest of his career, barring a couple of late year resurgence for Aaron if he's able to pitch deep into his 40s, and even then, hopefully he'll still be on the Phils for that as well. So that's super exciting that the Phils rotation is shaking out like that. As far as the Iron Pigs roster is concerned, no major minor league signings have happened as of yet. As I record this it's November the 27th, day that I'm actually recording this little monologue. The Phillies did sign reliever Jose Ruiz to a minor league contract. So Ruiz had pitched for the White Sox and Diamondbacks in the 2023 season. Had a 4.43 ERA with the D-backs. Good strikeout rate, just shy of 20%. Ground ball rate, 42%. Fastball sits around 96. So he's basically the MO of what Sam Fold and Dave Dombrowski like to go and get as far as a reliever is concerned. A guy who throws hard, gets ground balls, and hopefully they can get his walk rate in check and get the strikeout rate even higher. So Ruiz probably a guy who'll end up being a part of the Iron Pigs bullpen. I don't know about any opt-outs in his contract as far as, during spring training or during the season, but he is a minor league sign with an invite to spring training, so that's exciting as well. A couple of Iron Pigs who became free agents have actually signed elsewhere. We'll touch on that here real quick too. Ben Bowden and Jacob Hernandez have signed with other teams. Bowden has signed minor league contract spring training invite with the Atlanta Braves, while Jacob Hernandez has signed with the Baltimore Orioles. Two guys who are key parts of the Pigs bullpen this past season. Jacob Hernandez, a guy who had been a part of the bullpen staff since 2021. Two really phenomenal guys. Two left-handed pitchers who had great results here with the Iron Pigs, and we wish them nothing but luck in the rest of their careers, and hopefully our paths cross again at some point, because they are two really awesome guys who we enjoyed having here in Piggyville and having down in the bullpen, a bullpen core that was truly a pleasure to be around and a pleasure to watch on the field all season long during 2023. One guy that we do know, barring anything drastic, will be on the Iron Pigs roster for the 2024 season is Cal Stevenson. Cal was acquired via waiver claim by the Phillies back in either late May, early June, as he had been DFA'd by the Giants. Cal was claimed by the Phillies, then DFA'd by the Phillies, cleared waivers, and stuck around with the Iron Pigs for the rest of the season, where he had a fantastic year. Now, he could always make the Phillies opening day roster out of camp if he gets added to the 40-man roster. But for as of now, we expect Cal to be with the Iron Pigs in the starting lineup and out in the outfield come opening day 2024. So we decided to have Cal on to talk a little bit about his 2023 season, the wild journey that he went on, going from team to team, place to place, and finally settling in with the Iron Pigs and having nothing short of a fantastic season. He just played exceptionally well after a pretty abysmal start to his campaign, both when he was with the A's and the Giants, and then even here with the Iron Pigs. But once he settled in, he turned into a great player, an OPS of about 850 or so, great defense in the outfield, another guy who was just a pleasure to have around in the clubhouse. So for today's episode of the Pig Pod, happy to have Cal Stevenson join us. Without further ado, here is Cal Stevenson. So on our second episode of the Pig Pod here this offseason, we had Nick Podkol for episode 1, and now we have Cal Stevenson here for episode 2. Cal, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad I could make it and be a part of this.
Yeah, so, we talked about it with Nick, with him being on the first episode, and you in a slightly similar scenario, unless something, drastic happens, and we hope everything goes well in spring training, that, you don't end up here. But, looks like a return to Lehigh Valley might be in the cards for you. At least you at least know you'll be in the Phillies organization unless you're traded, which a lot of guys at this point of the offseason don't know where they're going, so you have a little bit of certainty on that. It's not even 6 months that you've been with the org. Actually, it is 6 months at this point.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, so 6 months now in the Phillies org. How's it feel to kind of know, with barring anything crazy, that this is where you'll be for the upcoming season?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously last year when I came in, it was a little different for me, just moving around so much. And Lehigh was an awesome place. I felt like I fit in really well there with the team, and just a good group. And I'm excited to kind of step back into that and be a part of that again. The thing that surprised me there too was that a lot of fans showed up pretty much every game I was there. So I'm excited to see the fans again, and it would be cool to see that whole thing play out. I'm excited for that.
And one thing I saw when I, doing my own little research coming into this podcast, I hadn't put two and two together, and I feel bad because when I initially shot you the email for the podcast, for some reason I just didn't put two and two together that Arizona is not Western time.
Now it's not.
Yeah,
because we don't do daylight savings here for some reason, which I don't mind. But when I went to Oregon, I was like a whole hour ahead, so. I'd gotten tricked with the time there too.
So you had the weird experience of being in Arizona during the NLCS. Were you keeping a low profile during that? Telling anybody that, hey, I'm in the Phil's org, or was you just kind of soaking it in?
Well, I live in like a quieter area. I live about 45 minutes from Phoenix, so I really don't go out much. I'm pretty much at home being a dad.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to kind of just keep a low profile in general. So. I was definitely watching, kind of bummed the way it played out, but I thought about going to a game actually, but the tickets were just outrageous, so I just decided to watch home.
And I imagine, one of the benefits of staying home as opposed to going to the game is you get to continue being a dad. I can't believe that, you went through the process that you went through, jumping from team to team this past year while your wife was pregnant with your second kid. So how's it been now being able to be home and fully soak in the fact that you got two little rascals running around?
Yeah, no, I mean, being home now, and so my son's at that age to where he's just kind of like growing and developing a personality, and so just cool to be home and see him grow. My daughter, same thing. She's what, 5-6 months now. So just seeing her grow and just kind of being able to help my wife out too has just been a game changer for us as a family. And I'm just excited to be able to just go through this process as a father. It's a fun process. It's a lot, but it's definitely worth it.
Is it difficult at all? In a weird way, not having an off season, so to speak, where, the season itself playing wise has its own stresses, and then you go home, newborn daughter right there, a son who's, very quickly growing up, and you're like, oh boy, this is a different kind of stress.
Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of just got to keep your cool together. I mean, obviously sometimes some days are better than others. They go through their little mood swings and they're changing too. So just adapting to that and trying to keep my cool. So sometimes I don't, but sometimes I got to, and it's just fun. Like I said, to see that all happen.
What's been your favorite part so far about being a father?
Uh, there's so many things, but I would say just like genuinely seeing my kids happy.
Mhm.
Uh, the first year my son was born, I wasn't really around because I was in Alabama I was at the Rays in Double A at that time. So, kind of just like seeing how comfortable he is with me and genuinely seeing how happy he is around me. I think that's the most rewarding thing out of it.
And I know that's something obviously you look forward to throughout, the entire season with, you like many other players come from the West Coast, so you leave family behind and you come back out east to play during the season. Aside from seeing your family once you get to the off season, what's the one thing you can't wait to do once the season's done?
Well, for me, it's just like this offseason, we bought our home in 2021 and we've kind of made some minor changes here and there, but like just for me, it's like doing the house project stuff and kind of just getting stuff in order and because like I just redid my backyard, so like that's just like something I like doing. Just like seeing like the stuff around my house change and upgrading it basically. So those are like things that I look forward to.
Are you a DIYer?
No, 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 no. I wish I could do it myself. It would save me a whole lot of more money, but no, just like seeing those changes. I like for me, it's just like, yeah, just help. Like my kids weren't able to go in the backyard and play. Now they're able to go back there and hang out and stuff. So that was one thing I was looking forward to this off season.
What did you do to the backyard?
We added some turf to it. Before it was just a big old blob of dirt and rocks. So it was just like you could not go back there, and the dog couldn't do anything back there. And then we added like a little cement way to where you could just go sit out by the fire and hang out at night.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
I know I need to take advantage of that more, honestly.
Is the turf suitable either to hit golf balls off of or use it in some way for baseball?
Oh yeah, I've been out there working out a couple times back
Oh,
there. I'm like,
seriously?
I can do something back here because before you just couldn't step foot. You come back in, you just drag dirt right back into the house, and then my wife's just like, I got to mop again.
Is that always an adjustment period when you come back, from living on your own during the baseball season to coming home and you're like, oh boy, I gotta, be a little bit tidier for the wife and you basically go from being a bachelor to not.
Yeah, no, I mean, I try to do my best when I'm on my own, just trying to keep it in order. Just that way, when I come home, it's not. My wife's very organized
Yeah.
and clean, so I think that has helped me throughout our relationship. We've been together long enough to where I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do and stay in order. When I get back home, I'm locked in. So she's got me in order.
She's the brains behind the operation.
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely down.
Uh, One thing I wanted to touch on, it'll actually go into your relationship with her a little bit. You kind of not only in your professional career, you've bounced around baseball wise almost from the get-go, starting at Nevada, going to JUCO, then to Arizona, and then obviously everything that's happened since you've gotten into pro ball. At what stage did you meet her during that?
So I've known my wife since sixth grade. We met in
Really?
sixth grade, yeah, and then I ended up going to we went to middle school together. We were always friends, but went to a different high school out of middle school, and then senior year I transferred. So like you said, it's happened my whole career. I bounced around. I back to the high school I was supposed to go to. We met again, and we've been together since my senior year. So she's been throughout that whole process basically with me from the beginning. So it's kind of like crazy to see how far we've come.
Was did you ever like have to explain to her what was going on during, the fact that you're bouncing around so much, or was it just kind of just understood like, hey, this is the ride?
Yeah, no, I mean, college, I get she definitely understood what was going on, but the first the first time I got traded, she was like, "What the heck does that even mean? Like, how does that even work?" So I was like, "Yeah, you could get traded. There's a trade deadline. Teams could trade you at any point. Basically, I wasn't on the 40-man roster, so I could have got traded after the trade
Mhm.
deadline. But yeah, she had no idea how that all worked, so I had to explain to her. And then, I mean, here we are, 5 teams later. Just she's adjusted really well, and it's crazy like how far, like I said, we've come.
And one thing I picked up on during your transfers during college, I'm going to take a wild guess here. You're following Jay Johnson.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So, talk to me a little bit about, he's obviously ends up at LSU, wins a national championship there. He's the premier college baseball coach. When you first got to him to Nevada, what was it that, told you internally, like, hey, this is a good guy to be around?
Well, he had recruited me before he got to Nevada too. So
Oh, really?
we had built a relation. He was still at University of San Diego. That's
Yeah.
when yeah, he had Chris Bryant, and
Yeah.
well, Chris Bryant was the biggest name. And I knew he had developed really good hitters. And I didn't in high school, I didn't even know if I was going to pitch or hit in college. I was still pitching then. But I just saw his track record and who he was putting out there, and it's just someone I wanted to surround myself with. And I saw the guys he was bringing in. I thought it was someone that a lot of guys wanted to play for, and it that was the case.
And how was it in your mind just having that faith, to that he had the faith in you that wherever he went, you would come with him and that you would have success no matter where that was?
I think he just really trusted my abilities as a player and my instincts on the field. Like, I mean, I'm not going to go out there, and in college, at least, I wasn't going to go out there and hit 10 to 15 home runs in a year. I was just one of those guys that was going to hit the top of the order and kind of just set the table for the guys behind me. I was able to get on base and walk a lot. So I think he just really trusted me early on as a freshman at Nevada, and kind of just let me pave the way for the older guys in the lineup.
And I also did a little bit of reading that, before you got to college, coaches have been a big part of your life. You played for your dad in high school. Uh,
I played for my dad when I like my whole life up until high school. Yeah.
really?
Yep.
So was that just something he had always been involved in, even before you or even before your family?
No, so my dad was always into basketball. He played basketball growing up. I mean, he played a little bit of baseball, but he liked basketball a whole lot more. Um, he just got me into baseball, just messing around in the backyard, and started playing. He's like, "All right, I think I got to get into this." And he learned so much as we went on together in the game, and as I grew up to play, he started reading more books, and just developing a different he just started developing like a love for it. I
Mhm.
would say he still coaches now. He coaches my younger brothers, and he's just like one of those guys who wants to help kids grow and play
Mhm.
baseball. So I think that's why he stayed in it. But yeah, he never got into it until I started playing.
What was that experience like for you? Because I know, my dad coached me up until I was like 12 or 13, and then he's like, okay, you know what, I'm not suited for the advanced levels of the game. I found it interesting that your dad stayed with you for that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a funny story about that too. Is so my junior year, he had gotten the coaching job at the school I had transferred to my senior year, and we were in the same league. So I had to play against my dad twice.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that was just a weird thing, just seeing him across the field and the other dugout. I was just like, dude, this is so weird. He intentionally walked me, I think twice that game, one the first
Seriously.
time. Yeah, I was like, dude, I got home. We beat him. He didn't even come home that night. Um, because he knew I was going to say something. But yeah, he didn't end up coming home. The second time we ended up beating them, and then so yeah, I'm 2-0 against my dad. I could keep that under my belt, but yeah, playing for him was awesome. He's intense. A lot of guys will say that too. Like he just wants the best out of you, and he knows how to get a good group of guys together and um, make it fun. It's almost like just rolling the ball out and let the guys play. That's how he let us play. He trusted us, and um, that's how we went about our business.
After he intentionally walked you, did you steal second?
I think I think I stole second. I
Yeah.
might have stole third too. Um, it was a 3-2 game, so it was close. The
Yeah.
game was definitely close. Yeah. So
A little bit of revenge.
yeah, I forget. The second game was a blowout, though. We blew them out. It was bad.
Was there any ounce of regret or fear when you were blowing them out that like, oh man, this is gonna make for a weird dinner later this week?
Oh no, we would always like we would talk crap in the house about like what was going to happen, and um, so like I had rounded third base and they were in the third base dugout, and I said, "Come on, man, you guys got to pick this up." But like he knew I was joking, but I was like, "Oh dang, I shouldn't have said that." It was my
Yeah.
dad.
Oh man.
So yeah, no, it was fun. It was definitely like a weird experience, but like we're both competitive guys, and we knew what to expect out of that.
The other thing you mentioned about your high school days, and we found out about this over the summer as well, was that you pitched.
Yep.
You got back on the mound this summer. When the Pigs needed a position player out in the bump, that was more, just needed to get some outs. But I know in high school and then going into college, even you were a legitimate two-way player. When did you kind of realize the hitting was going to be what was moving forward for you?
Oh man, I think my fall of my freshman year is when I kind of saw the dip in my pitching abilities.
Mhm.
Because I was still like trying to two-way at that point. I felt like I had been more focused on hitting. I definitely pitched a lot in the fall.
Mhm.
I would but I just like the velo wasn't there, and pitching in Reno, like your pitches don't break as much.
Yeah.
So my breaking wasn't the same. So I guess I noticed it there just in the fall, just like, okay, maybe I should just focus on hitting. I did pitch in the spring a little bit, but I only think I had like 3 appearances.
Mhm.
So I would say that's kind of where it
Yeah.
just dipped off.
Was there one specific moment where you threw a pitch and maybe it got clobbered or something? You're like, you know what? Maybe, maybe I'm
No,
better suited as a hitter.
I so we were notorious for throwing inside at Nevada, like just
Mhm.
like work in to like get guys off the plate or just like tie them up. But I threw a fastball, probably a ball in off the plate to one of our guys in the fall, and he just hits it like 420 feet over the wall. I'm just like, yeah, I'm done. This is it. There's no way. How am I going to compete with that? It's
How,
not like I
how,
throw 95.
how did it feel getting back out on the mound this summer?
I mean, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I was terrified. I mean, just with
That
the
was,
lineup that they had in
yeah,
Scranton, I mean, I think I faced Defoe. Florial was having a really good year up to that
yeah,
point. And then Dominguez, like just Defoe's big league time. And now they all have big league time, but like those are three good guys that could hit.
yeah. Hey, and you
I mean,
got
I'm just, yeah, that was the whole thing. I was like, all right, just let them hit it, get themselves out, and get back in the dugout. Let's leave it at that.
How were you not scared for your own well-being, but a little bit of, okay, as soon as I release this pitch, I am fully turned into a defender now.
Oh, I threw that ball, and I felt like I was going to try and get behind the rubber before they hit it. That's what I was trying to do. Just like, when the guys slow pitch softball and
Yep.
they're going back, that's what I was trying to do.
Oh
It's
my.
scary. I mean, guys can hit those balls so hard.
Did it give you almost a little bit of perspective to flip it around to you as a hitter and remind you that like pitching's like hard. Pitching's really hard. And then as a hitter, yeah, you fail 7 times out of 10, but the pitcher's got fear too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's what makes baseball so hard. I mean, everything we do is at a high level. So, um, I definitely gained more respect for the pitchers after especially because I think I was pitching with ABS that night.
Yeah.
But like trying to throw it in that zone consistently, I think that was the toughest part.
I know that was something that was talked about a lot during the season. I know we talked about it because you've always had, even going back to high school and college, you've always had a great eye at the plate, really high on base percentage. But this summer, your strikeout to walk ratio was fantastic. And I don't know if it was ever mentioned to you, the last game that was played this past year that you played in, you actually tied a franchise record, 4 walks in a
Oh,
game.
4 walks in a game?
Yeah, that tied the franchise record for most walks.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no one told me that.
Yeah, so congrats. I found that out after the fact. But anyways, I know you said a couple times during the season that you were happy with your strike zone control, but a couple times that you felt like, man, the ABS, like it might just not be reading me right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not going up there to look for a walk.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and I think people think that, but I feel like I just have a really good understanding of the zone, and
Mhm.
I think they shrunk. I'm pretty sure they did
Yeah.
shrink it at the end of the year. So, um, I think that kind of played a role into it as well. Just like kind of understanding, like, okay, I could eliminate certain pitches and certain counts, or what I'm looking for, and set my sights differently. So just like creating an understanding and a game plan for that, I think that helped me out a whole lot.
Do you think that kind of coupled with your increase in power that you were able to key in on a couple more dangerous areas in the zone and have like a really clearly defined strike zone that you obviously had very good control over?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, when you're in a hitter's count, you're definitely looking to take more chances, and I think hitting in the 9 hole, I was definitely able to get more pitches I was looking for, and put good swings on them. So I think that had a big role into my approach and taking more chances for sure. And I
Mhm.
think that's what we saw the last month and a half.
Yeah. And you ended up one homer shy of your career high in significantly fewer games. That looked like a little expression of pain on your face there.
Yeah, I know, because we had joked about it in the locker room. I know Thirsty and I, and then Mahala was there. We were in my exit meeting, like, you just need one more, just hit one more, and you're good. And then I mean, the last three
Yeah.
games didn't end up being played, but or last was it last two or three?
What last two?
Yeah, it was last two. So yeah, I never got that chance to kind of to break that personal record, but I'm looking forward to trying to do that next year. I'm not going to try and do it. Hopefully, I do it. Just let the game come to me. But yeah, 10 has always been a goal of mine. I wanted 20 stolen bases as well, and I got 19. So
Mhm.
I mean, I also have to take a look at the year I had and the amount of games I played. So I'm very happy with the way it turned out.
Is that something, you feel extra proud about that you're able to say you're happy with the way the past year turned out? Because you know, in my view, it would have been pretty easy for you to say 2.5, 3 months into the season, like, man, this has been an absolutely whirlwind of a year. I just want to pull the plug and get over with it. But instead, you battled through it and turned it into a really, really good year.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to battle through those times where you're just like sitting at home, because I mean, I sat at
Yeah.
home for 3 weeks. Just kind of like, am I doing anything right? Like, what am I doing wrong? Am I supposed to be doing this? You definitely have those doubts, but um historically, I've always gotten off to slow starts throughout the year. Not that I want to. It's just like, it's just baseball. Things kind of speed up on you once you come out of spring training, and I think I just needed to take a step back and listen to myself, and kind of just let myself go out there and play. I think that's kind of what happened at the end. And like I said, I got more comfortable with the guys in the clubhouse, and I think that helped a whole lot with me being able to come in every day and get ready to work.
That was something that you had mentioned to me when it might have been a month or so after you were acquired, that you're like, the past couple of weeks that I'd been through, I just like didn't even feel like asking people's names because I just didn't know whether or not it was going to be worth my time and effort.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I was with the Giants for 3 weeks. I feel like I couldn't name 15 guys on the team. That's in it, and I hate to say that,
Yeah.
but um, you definitely want to know guys in the clubhouse. You want to know who they are. That way, like, you know who you're around, and it makes it fun to come into the game, the clubhouse every day. I mean, you're doing this for 6, 7 months in a row,
Mhm.
so understanding who you're around makes it definitely easier to show up.
One thing I wanted to ask you about, because I saw some awesome videos of it, was when you made your debut with the A's.
Yeah.
And I saw the little posse that you had out of the ballpark. I'm assuming that was friends and family that was cheering really, really hard for you. How special was that? 'Cause yeah, I looked at a map. You grew up in somewhat. Did you grow up in A's country, or is that more Giants territory out in
I
California?
mean, you could be either. I mean,
Yeah.
I grew up 20 minutes from the stadium in Oakland, which is going to be gone now, I guess. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know if it's gone, but yeah, they're not going to be playing there soon. And I probably grew up like 45 minutes from Giants,
Mhm.
Oracle. So I definitely went to a lot more A's games growing up, because you could take. Are you familiar with Bart?
Yep.
Yep. So Bart was probably like a 30-minute Bart ride to the stadium with all the stops and stuff. So we would always go to A's games growing up, and yeah, going there and being able to play there was pretty cool. I was definitely shocked with how many people showed up. It was on a Wednesday, so I wasn't sure if people had to work or anything, but yeah, no, that was definitely a experience that I will cherish forever and will always have in my mind for sure. That was awesome.
How much does it mean to you that no matter what else happens in your major league career, you got to suit up for your two hometown teams?
Yeah, not many people could say that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I grew up a Dodger fan, so playing for the Giants,
That was gonna be
playing
my
for the
next
Giants is a little
question.
weird. What's that?
That was gonna be my next question is if what fan who did you grow up rooting for?
Yeah, I grew up a Dodger fan, which is my dad grew up. My dad was a Dodger fan. He watched a lot of Dodger games growing up, so that's kind of why I got brought into it. Uh, but I definitely like I have a lot of respect for the Giants just after playing for them and giving me an opportunity, obviously, to play in the big leagues. It was cool. That I mean, the stadium's awesome
Yeah.
in San Francisco, so that was really really cool. And just playing for both of them, being able to have the support around me in that area with a lot of family and friends, that was something I love to have around for sure.
And you mentioned it, obviously the A's are going to be leaving Oakland at some point here in the next 5 years or so for Vegas. And you spent a little bit of time playing for the A's AAA team down in Vegas. Did you like playing in Vegas, or did you feel like, does it fit the baseball? I know they get solid crowds as a minor league team, but I don't know what it's like as a player actually, being there, because Las Vegas is probably the most eccentric minor league market you could possibly have. I mean, comparing Allentown to Las Vegas, two ends of a spectrum.
Yeah, night and day for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, I as a hitter, I would love it. As a pitcher, not so much. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting how it plays out. I'm sure where the Vegas stadium is for the Aviators is probably about 20-25 minutes from the strip, where I think that's where they're going to build the
Yeah.
stadiums near the strip. So I'm sure we would get a lot of fans there. I'm sure they're not going to have any
Yeah.
problem with drawing fans and creating a fan base in that area for sure.
What was it like just like during the summer? I can't imagine you guys were taking too much early work or even BP most of the time once you got into
Uh,
June, July, August.
so every game was a night. It was a 7 o'clock game. You can't
Yeah.
play a day game on a Sunday to get away. So a lot of teams would stay there and then leave early Monday morning to fly wherever they were playing next. Um, but I mean, yeah, we would take BP maybe once a week
Yeah.
in Vegas. Most of our stuff would be done on the road, depending on like the weather where we're at too, because I mean that league tends to get pretty hot.
Yeah. And I know
You got to go to Texas and stuff. Yeah,
I know one of the other big factors of the PCL that you got to experience a good bit, and you mentioned it with the travel on Mondays, is you're flying almost everywhere. And for people who don't know, PCL travel is a lot different than Major League travel. Everything's commercial, and it's a lot of
yeah.
layovers and it's a lot of early wake up calls. Do you remember your first PCL airplane trip?
Well, my first plane trip. So Vegas flies direct everywhere, basically. So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. So it was cool. My first trip was we flew to Round Rock,
Mhm.
and because I got traded in early July. We had one home series, and then we had the All Star break. So then I went home to drop some stuff off. Went back to Vegas and met up with the team, and then we flew straight to Round Rock.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I had flown with Durham before,
Yeah,
uh, so I had been
IL's a
on
little
commercial
different.
flights. Yeah, it's a little different. It's not you get definitely people definitely come up to you and ask questions like, "Oh, what do you guys do?" And like, "What do you guys do?" Blah blah blah. Just trying to like see what's going on, why we're all dressed nice
Mhm.
and whatnot.
Because I know obviously it's a far bigger program than most college baseball programs. Does Arizona fly chartered?
No, no,
No.
just we flew charter to regionals. That was it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but everything else we flew Southwest.
Yeah. It's still not
Yeah,
too shabby.
no, not at all. Yeah, those trips would be short too.
Yeah.
We would always have like a layover though, because Tucson doesn't ever fly anywhere direct other than LA. Probably that's about it.
Yeah. Uh, One thing I always love asking guys is once they got drafted, I know your draft story is a little bit different because you were a senior sign, right?
Yep, I was senior
Yeah.
sign.
So obviously, for anybody listening who doesn't know what that means, as a senior in college, uh, to put it bluntly, Cal, you basically had no leverage to go up against the Blue Jays when you signed.
Mhm.
But when you did finally get your signing bonus, what was the dumbest purchase you made that you said, when I get drafted, I'm buying this?
I mean, I signed for 5 grand. There's not much stupid things you could buy for, and I think I got like 3,600 after taxes. So there's not many bad things. I save my money. I don't like spending a whole
Yeah.
lot of money. I wish I could have said, oh, I went and bought a car, but yeah, no, I didn't really spend money, man. I was about to get engaged, and I was like, I need to pay for a wedding. So
Was there anything that you told yourself that you were going to get yourself when you made your major league debut?
the laptop I'm talking to you on right now, that's
You're
about
a
it.
humble man, Cal.
Yeah. So I mean, this thing was, yeah, just an Apple MacBook
Yeah.
Pro. That was about all I got. I was like, I have not made it yet until I've been here for at least a year. I know I'm chilling, but no, yeah, no, man. I'm like I said, I don't like spending money.
um, One other thing that I read going through your bio a little bit was that you grew. So we talked a little bit about where you grew up. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it. Fremont. It's just Fremont, right?
Yep, Fremont. Yep.
Uh, there's a pretty good history of ball players from that area.
Hmm.
Was that something that you were aware of as you started to kind of climb through the ranks a little bit? And was that anything that ever had an impact on you?
Well, well, who are we talking about here? Like
Uh, I saw some names like Sean Dunson, Stephen Kwan from
Stephen
the same
Kwan. Yep.
area. Yeah,
Yep.
and I put kind of two and two together. Okay, Pac-12, same area kind of thing. I did, and I saw that you had played for, I forget the name of the team, but some either college showcase teams or summer college ball in the area where I was like, okay, these are a lot of names that are kind of at the AAA level and at the major league level right now too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if you heard the name Mark Matthias.
Yeah,
Yep, Mark Matthias is from there. Tyler Sear, he was with the Lehigh last year. Stephen Kwan. Gosh, I think that's just about it off the top of my head. But Sean Dunson, I never ran into Sean Dunson. I know Dennis Eckersley's
yeah.
from there. But yeah, no, growing up with those three first names that I mentioned, I had played with all those guys or played against them growing up, so it was super competitive in our area. And Stephen Kwan kind of he came out slow in college, but he kind of like led that team his sophomore year. And gosh, he's turned into a really good player in the big leagues, and just to become a reliable bat and outfielder. And it's so good to see him doing what he's doing. He's been really good up there. And um, Mark has been really good too. Him and I played together when I was he's 3 years older than me, or 2 years older than me. So um, I got to play with him a little bit when I was younger, and then in high school too. So it's just good to see all these guys still going and progressing in
Mm.
baseball.
And that's one thing that's got to be a little either weird or hard to remember for you because, like we've mentioned, you've bounced around so much that your baseball web, so to speak, you've met and touched a lot of different people. And
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, that's very cool in that you're a degree or two of separation from almost anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I've met so many people. I played with Jim Haley for 2 years before last year, and just playing with guys like that, and I feel like I've found a way to meet up with people again in baseball, and you definitely remember those times, and you cherish the moments you guys have together for sure. That's why I remember a lot of that stuff too. I mean, um, you know, it's just a fun thing to be a part of and be around guys like that.
As far as fun moments go, is there one favorite one from this past year that you're like, okay, this is something that's going to stick with me?
Um, it's hard to say. It's hard to say for sure. I mean, just like some of the walk-off wins we had, like
Yeah,
when Hicks hit his walk-off home
yeah.
run, That was a bomb.
Yeah.
I watched that. I think my mouth dropped to the floor. My jaw dropped. I was like, oh my God, that was a bomb. And just being able to just like celebrate with the guys after the game, just stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, you cherish those moments forever. And just like a simple hoorah in the locker room, like little stuff like that. You definitely remember those things.
Mm.
Ping pong before the games, all that stuff.
Are you do you claim to be a good ping pong player?
I do, but I'd never played in the locker room. I don't know why.
Seriously.
Yeah, no. I have a ping pong table upstairs in my house right now, but
Huh.
I have no one to play with right now. So yeah, no, I'm a good ping pong player. I grew up playing a lot, and my friends always had one growing up, so we were always competitive with it.
So if it's not ping pong, what's your kind of pregame relaxation?
So they actually had those puzzles in the locker room where you go down, you go 0 to 100. I kind of like getting into that stuff. I don't know why.
I was going to ask you about that because I remember at the beginning of the year, it might have been Jake Cave and Drew Ellis were doing them, and I needed to grab one of them for something. I'm like, what in the world are you doing? They're like, oh, it's like a thought, reaction puzzle. I'm like, okay, man, you guys are the big leaguers. I'm not. Whatever. How did you kind of get into it, and why is it addicting?
Well, it's addicting because everyone to try and compete with each other. Because you're trying to get the fastest time. And like for us, it was more like a mental performance thing. Like,
Yeah,
okay, if I could slow it down here, I could slow it down in the
yeah.
game too. So just remaining calm and kind of just like getting your mind right before you go out and do stuff for BP. And like I said, it was competitive for all of us. We're all trying. Jeremy Walker and Drew Ellis were the two best ones at it by far. It wasn't even close.
What
You're
was your
just like looking at their times, like, dude, there's no way you did that.
what
And
was
you
your
watch
best
them do it
time?
again, and they did it.
What was your best time?
My best time was like 2:47 or something like that.
Okay. What were Drew and Jeremy posting?
Drew would go like they would be between 2:10, 2:15.
Oof.
Yeah, like third, like way beyond us. They were good.
So that's one thing I always love finding out about some guys is any hidden talent type thing. Do you have a hidden talent?
Oh no, man.
Nothing?
No, I wish. I'm trying to think of a hidden talent. No, like I have no hidden talents. I'm so like by the book, basic man. I wish I had a hidden talent.
I mean, baseball.
I mean, that's not hidden. You guys get
Yeah,
to
it's
see
not
them.
hidden. It's not hidden. It's there.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be humble, so
uh, so if it's not hidden talent, the other thing I like to ask is sometimes, when you're on the field, if there's ever been a moment where somebody else's talent has left you in like awe, either a pitcher you're facing or somebody on your own team where you're like, okay, this is a whole nother level type of thing.
yeah. I mean, there's so many good players out there, but I always tell this story about the time I was playing Corbin Carroll in
Yeah.
Vegas for the first time. I've heard about him. Obviously, he's a really high prospect, and I'm in the outfield, and I just get like the most like I wouldn't say routine ground ball, but he hits a pretty good ground ball to me and right, and I'm like going over to pick it up, and as I'm picking it up, I look up, and he's like halfway to second base already, and I'm just like, how am I supposed to get this back in before this guy gets a double? Like he was he's so fast. I had never seen anybody play the game like that. And it was pretty clear this year why he's the player he is.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if that answers your question, but
Yeah.
that's what I think of every time, and it's unbelievable
That
how
one.
fast the guy is and how he plays the game.
No, that answers it beautifully. And then for you on a personal level, was there a moment when you realized, like you said, you're very humble, but was there a moment where you realized, okay, my talent at baseball is kind of past what a normal person does here?
Um, I would say the moment I got called up. Um,
it took you becoming a major leaguer to be like, I might be good at this.
Well, I'm really hard on myself. I hold myself to a high standard. I think because the week I went up, I was like, okay. I told myself the night before I got called up, I was like, I think if you called me up right now, I would be able to do this right
Mhm.
right now. And then like that's when I'm like, okay, I trust myself and I know I'm good enough to do this.
Was that the first time that you said that to yourself?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, it's something you always think about for sure.
Yeah.
Like you work to get there, but being ready and be put in that situation, I think is a whole different question for sure.
Is that one thing that you realized on your first promotion that, you always like to think that you're ready, but then it's actually being in that moment where you get to tell yourself, I'm here, my feet are on the ground. Nobody can take this away from me.
Yeah, I mean, when I got to Oakland, I had so much going on too. When I got there, just with all the people, I was just like, okay, just take it all in and just be
Mm-hmm.
present, and just play the game. I mean, that's what it is at the end of the day. When you get up there, it's the same game.
Yeah.
Obviously, the players are better and the situations are a little bit different, but it's just nine guys on each side of the field and playing baseball.
What did you do with your first hit baseball?
It's upstairs in the loft area, just
Mhm.
sitting where it's on the shelf right now. So yeah, no, it's up there. I have the first pitch I swung at. I fouled the first pitch I swung at. I fouled it off. So I don't know. They gave it to me. It's up there too.
You
So
didn't
Ray, I
want
don't
to
know if
put,
anyone has that either, but yep, I got it.
did you put a little plaque under it? Like first pitch fouled off in majors?
I don't have that. I have the first hit one under like, oh, first
Yeah.
hit. That's about it.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Either
Yeah,
way.
it is. Yeah, that was a surprise to get the foul ball. I was like, I don't really want this, but okay. I mean, it's cool. It's cool
Yeah.
now. Like, I'll take it, but I wasn't expecting it.
Okay, to wrap this up, you had said way back when we started this that you were really appreciative of the fans and being able to come out to a pretty packed ballpark uh, every night out. How excited does that make you feel going into 2024? That if you are back here on the Iron Pigs roster, that you get to play in a special environment down here at AAA.
Yeah, I mean, I got to play in Durham. That was very fun. That was a great experience too. But I had no idea what Lehigh Valley was about. I knew that people loved them and they were pretty popular. But I think getting there and being able to experience that atmosphere night in and night out, I think it makes us as players want to show up every day and put on a show for the fans because we know how loyal they are and they show up and they're loud.
Yeah.
They really are, and I think we're very appreciative of that. Makes it like I said, it makes it easier for us to go out and play baseball and have fun.
Well, Cal, we certainly hope to have you back here in the fold here for 2024. And I can't thank you enough for giving us the time here today.
Yeah, no, appreciate you having me, Sam. I really do. Thank you so much.
Again, a big thanks to Cal for joining us on the Pig Pod for today's episode. Cal having tons of fun with his two kids and his wife out in Arizona here during the off season. Going to be a pleasure to have Cal back in the fold for 2024. That'll just about wrap it up for today's episode of the Pig Pod. As always, wherever you're listening to this, drop us a like, drop us a subscribe, tell your friends about us. If you feel like listening a couple more times to get the play count going higher, sure, why not? Go for it. And if we don't get another episode out before the heart of the holiday season hits us as far as Christmas, Hanukkah, and all the like, a very happy holidays to you and yours from us here at the Iron Pigs. And can't wait till opening day 2024. Until our next episode of the Pig Pod, I've been Sam Jellinek, and have a great rest of your day.